Belonging is being accepted for you. Fitting in is being accepted for being like everyone else. If I get to be me, I belong. If I have to be like you, I fit in. What a beautiful quote by Dr. Brené Brown. Hi, I'm Madhumita Adya. I'm a youth mentor, a neuroscience coach, and United Nations Sustainability Development Ambassador. Welcome to my channel, Say Something with Mads, where I invite youth from across the globe to put forward their thoughts, their ideas, their views about topics which is close to their heart. Is their passion, is their views, is their thinking about Gen Z, which we are very interested to listen. And it's not only to listen to the youth, it is to understand them. This is what is all this channel about. So today we are talking about a very, very important topic as we started with the quote, self-love. And to do that, we have Ashutosh Singh. Welcome, Ashutosh. How are you doing?
Hello, Madhumita. I am very excited to be here. This is like my first this kind of interview, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come on my channel. And uh, why I thought Ashutosh would be a good fit for this channel is he is just 26 and he is already a life coach. I wonder at this age, I have started learning about coaching, what it means, etc. And I was intrigued to know that what goes on in Ashutosh's mind that at such a young age he has become a coach and he has such profound thought process and his thinking and the words which is beautiful. So let's uh, get to know him better in his own words. Ashutosh, where are you from? Where are you right now?
Thank you so much for your warm introduction. So I was born in a small town in West Uttar Pradesh.
Okay.
It's like 100 kilometers from Delhi.
Uh-huh.
Currently, I live alone in Noida, Uttar Pradesh.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm a life and consistency coach, and I help people with consistency to be more consistent in their habits, self-love, and life purpose.
Talk about who was in the family and about specifically I am very interested about people's name. What does Ashutosh mean? What is actually the meaning of your name? And then tell us more about yourself, about philosophy of life and about your vision.
Hmm. So the meaning of my name, Ashutosh, I think it's the name of the Lord Shiva, one of the other names of Lord Shiva. And why I was named Ashutosh was because my brother's name was Paritosh,
Oh, lovely. Okay.
and he actually changed that name to Prashant, but I remain Ashutosh only.
Great, great.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, talk about yourself. You have to introduce your journey.
So I am actually the youngest in my family. I have one brother and one sister, and I would say I'm a very lucky person because I think if you are the youngest in your family, you you have less responsibility when you're growing up. You have more exposure and more experience of the people who are guiding you. So
Okay.
I've been very lucky in that aspect that I am the youngest in my family.
Absolutely. I totally agree. What you said is that there's less pressure. You are free to do. The parents are already done with all the pressure on the elder one. So now they know that they will take care of themselves. All right. So Ashutosh, you decided to speak when we were discussing on what topic. You chose a very profound topic of self-love. What does this topic mean to you?
What does this topic mean to me? Oh, it's not an easy question to begin with because I think there are two things when you find it hard to answer. One, when you don't know anything about it. One, when it means so much to you.
Mm, absolutely.
So I think, like for every person, whether they know it or not, in the end, the life is their journey of self-love. They can do all the things in their life. They can achieve all that they want.
Mm.
They can be in love with a person. They can achieve all the riches in the world. But at the end, the only thing that will give them that full satisfaction and that fulfillment of life, that will only come from loving themselves, loving and knowing more about themselves.
Hmm.
So it's like we can like we will as this we progress, we talk more about it and we'll go deeper into it, why it is important, how you can love yourself more, and what it's like when you're in love with yourself.
Okay. So, I was reading about you, and you said that you are an explorer of ideas. I love the word. When we say explorer, we say that, okay, you are a traveler. You said, no, I'm not only a traveler, I explore ideas, thoughts, and emotions. Wow. So, you get into people's mind, you talk to people, you go their thoughts, you go deep into learning them emotions. What is your background? And what have you studied to become a coach? And how has been the journey so far with your exploring mental makeup? Like, whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever you see, you want to explore it deep, right? You dive into it. So how has all this started, and how have you become a coach?
Mhm. I think if I think about it, that the explorer part and the explorer of ideas, where it comes from. So I have to go right back to my childhood.
Okay.
As a child, I used to be a very curious kid, very, very curious kid. And in fact, I used to ask so many questions when I was kid that I would easily irritate all the adults around me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And somewhere I was not convinced with whatever I used to ask them, the answers I was getting. I
Hmm.
was not satisfied with what they were telling me. And I wanted to understand and know how the world works, how the life works. I wanted to like learn about each and everything when I was a small kid.
Hmm.
And then I grew up, and I would say that I made few mistakes like all people do, that I started listening to what our elders were saying to
Hmm.
what I should do in my life,
Hmm.
which led me to pursue engineering.
Hmm. Oh, you
And
are also an engineer turned late realizer of no. That's a standard of every teen's life. My son, at 23, he says that 4 years of my life, which I wasted, is because I listened to you to become an engineer. All parents have to listen to this. So you are one of them.
yeah, I'm one of them, but now I don't think it's I wasted any time.
Yeah, actually, it's nothing
Yeah,
is a waste.
yeah, nothing in life goes to waste if you can learn from it. And because the way where I was raised, the exposure that I had, the parenting I received, the mentors I had, I don't think I could have done anything differently.
Hmm.
No matter how much I think that I could have done things differently. So I learned a lot during my engineering. Also, I did my engineering in 6 years. I got 2 years extended because I got a lot of backlogs. But
Okay.
those 2 years, I would say, were the most crucial part of my journey. And those 2 years were where I learned almost about life, I would say. So I would say engineering taught me so much about life.
Hmm.
There were a lot of challenges in my life when I was going through engineering, some health
Hmm.
issues, personal issues, again professional issues because I was failing in a lot of subjects.
Hmm.
And because I decided to take responsibility of my life,
Hmm.
and I decided to overcome all the challenges that I was facing.
Hmm. That
And
is where
in
your journey of self-love and
yeah,
introspection started.
yeah, that's how that journey of self-love and I would say exploring ideas started.
So,
And
yeah, so you mean to say that when somebody is in dark pit, like they don't see anything, and we say that, okay, what is going to happen to me? Then you look inwards. Then you start looking inward and get that strength from within, because nobody else can help you other than yourself. Am I right?
yes, I would say because I was in, I would say deep trouble that I was wondering how did I end up here at this
Hmm.
place? How did I get so low?
Hmm.
But I don't know. I would say because of how my parenting was, I was a very optimistic person.
Hmm.
And I only thought that even though this is the lowest point in my life, but I know that I cannot get any further lower. So, which was in
Hmm.
itself that a positive expect because I knew that from here on, things are only going to get higher and better.
Absolutely beautiful.
So, yeah, when life hits you, it's like
Exactly.
you have to take a pause because you know that the way you have been doing things, they aren't working out and you need to do something differently, whether inside or outside. And for that, you take a pause, you have to stop. And when you stop, you start realizing a lot of things about yourself, about how your life or how you want to go forward. What is
Mm,
that you want to change?
mm. Amazing. But how did this is so fascinating that you wanted to study human behavior since the college days when people are looking for running after money, thinking of materialistic pleasure and stuff like that. But you started thinking about, of course, money is important in life. Of course, you have to earn to get a better exposure, to get a better place, better meet people. Everything is known, but you started also thinking about human mind, human behavior. When did your coaching journey start, and who is that person whom you looked up to say that yes, I want to become like him, and I want to become a coach, and I want to help people? How did this coaching thing start?
It's actually a very long story. It's actually a very long story, and there are so many elements to it. It did not happen in like that. That one day I started
Yeah,
thinking.
it never.
Yeah. But yeah, if I have to like now think back and connect the dots, I would say it only happened why I became a coach because I was following my heart.
Hmm,
I had lived a life where I was following my mind, and
hmm,
it did not work out very well.
hmm,
So because of that, and things happened to me, like the challenges that I faced, they gave me that insight that the only way to live this life wholeheartedly is to when you start following your heart. And it's not going to be easy. Let's face it, it's not going to be easy. But I was pretty much determined. I would say those challenges gave me that much power to walk that path, to create my own path, the road less traveled. And because of that, I did not make just one decision. I made series of decisions, one after the other,
hmm.
which led me to here at this moment.
Wow. Okay, so you want to continue being a coach, or is it going to be your sole profession, or you going to are you going to do something else, and along with that you take the coaching as a hobby, or maybe it's your main profession? Or how do you see your journey in future about this coaching? It's coaching word is now so overrated, everybody wants to call themselves a coach, but how many of us have the actual passion to follow it through and not just look at somebody as a money making a client or somebody, and somebody actually wants to make a difference? I can see this passion in you. So what do you see your journey ahead?
Hmm. I see a lot of potential in my journey, and I can relate with that. A lot of people are calling themselves a coach, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a good thing.
Mm.
It can be
That's
both.
their call. Mm.
Yeah. And if I have to talk about my journey and what I see forward, so I am, like I say, I now don't do things half-heartedly. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm in, I'm fully in. So I'm
Mm.
fully into this profession of coaching.
Mm.
And my vision is to like take life coaching to next level in India or maybe the world after that. So that like people are aware that what is coaching and how it can help them. Because I really believe that coaching is going to play an important role in the transformation of the world.
Mm.
And not only because I am saying that, not only because I am a coach, but because I also have my own coach, and
Yes,
I've been working with her for 1.5 years, and I have experienced that shift in my life because of
absolutely.
coaching. So it has, and also I've seen that shift in my clients.
Mm.
So I believe in the power of coaching, and my vision is to take it to a very next level.
Mm. Absolutely. Very well said. Uh, so, whom would you think you look up to as your role model? Maybe in the coaching field or in your life, or somebody whom you have never met also. Maybe you idolize that person. Who is that person going to be? Maybe one or two.
Yeah, no, that's a very difficult question. Uh, I would say I have a lot of role models because I read a very like vast people from very different kind of fields, and I learn from everyone something or other from everyone.
Mm,
And it's very hard because that person keeps on changing. At one point, I am listening to one person or reading the books of that person more, then that person keeps on changing. Currently, I would say the most. person that's coming in my mind is Steve Hardison.
Okay.
He is known as the ultimate coach. He is considered the best coach there is in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading his book, rereading his book, The Ultimate Coach,
Mm-hmm.
and there is so much to learn. Not, and it's not just about how to be a better coach. This book is about how to be a better human.
Absolutely. Most of the books do first tell us that how we are going to conduct ourselves before we start coaching
Yeah.
people. So while doing all this, while doing this interviews with different people from across the globe, I am coming to know better about myself too. As I'm talking to you, I am reflecting what is changing within me, if something is shifting. So the conversation has to always start from within. Now going, I was going to ask you about, you had already mentioned this, but let's bring it back. You said you were always thinking with mind earlier, and now you think with heart. So my next question to you would be, is it good to be a practical person or emotional person? Like practical person would think with their mind
Yeah.
most of the time, but most of us are a balance between practical and emotional. We don't always react in a similar way. But you said you had a shift. You became a more heart from emotional person. Do you think that shift is actually possible, or is a person totally mind oriented or heart oriented, and how has been the shift for you? And because this is something, EQ is being talked about everywhere. But I do think that practicality also is important. What is your take?
Okay, so I actually have a very different perspective on how it is usually seen.
Okay.
And so one of the I read this quote around a few years ago, and I wrote it down in my diary, and it says that we are not rational creatures that have emotions. We
Okay.
are emotional creatures that rationalize.
Very profound.
And
Can you repeat it again?
yeah, we are not rational creatures that have emotions. We are emotional creatures that rationalize. So even for the practical person, even someone who thinks he is a practical person, it might be that he might be taking all those decisions out of fear, out of emotion of fear. So every decision that we make is somewhere coming out of some emotion. There's no practical decisions at all. That only difference that matters is which emotion is driving that decision. Is it coming from, I would say, the higher vibrational emotions such as love, joy, freedom, or is it coming from lower vibrational emotions such as fear,
Yeah.
jealousy, anger? So
Mm,
that's how I would say that's how you see like where your decision is coming from.
mm,
Because sometimes this practicality, rationality is I think is a way where we limit ourselves because of fears and we call it we are being practical. But it's like we are a powerful force of nature. And there is a lot of talk about we are limitless, we are this, we are that. But it only happens when we open our mind and see what's possible, what is that we can create, and that then see that when then comes the practical part. First, we open up our mind
mm,
and actually reflect within that where is that decision coming from,
mm.
and if we can see like what is the possibility, what is the highest possibility that we can create, then we can use our practical mind to make it happen.
Okay. Um, Today, when I speak to somebody, a youth, I would ask you, because you are also just very young. But when I speak to a 19 or 20-year old and I interact with them, they would think, what is there in it for me? Even otherwise, why youth, even adults? You ask something, you talk to them something that it's a very simple thing. Okay, would you do this? What's there for me? Do I get a certificate out of this? Do I get a recommendation out of this? Do I get this? Do I get that? The first question that comes to people's mind, I'm not generalizing, but I have faced it quite often, is that what is it that I'm getting out of it? Most of the time, the getting out of is something which is of least value. Supposing I'm talking to you today, the value which we are creating, if you had said, if I come to your channel, what would I get?
Mm.
this conversation wouldn't have happened. So
Yeah.
I find this very common. What is in it? What is in it? What am I getting? What do you think about this?
What I think about is this, that we are
Is
living in
it
a
a
time.
fact that is happening around young people more?
Yeah. I would say it's not their problem. It's something that the world they are born in,
Uh-huh.
and we were born in a very different world.
Mm,
Like we didn't used to get anything in an instant.
mm.
So the most of the people who are younger than 25 or 20, so they are born in a world where they were,
Everything is given. Yeah. On a
yeah,
platter.
where they were given everything in a moment, because where the internet was thriving, where they were using smartphones right from the beginning.
Mm,
So their brain is wired in a way where they lack a lot of patience and
mm,
they want everything instantly.
mm.
But the thing is, to achieve anything worthwhile in life, you need a lot of patience and perseverance.
Yes. And everything is not something at the end of it you have a reward. It is a
Yeah,
journey which is a reward. It's not
yeah,
a it's not the destination.
yeah. That's also very true, because now, like, I am actually looking forward to do these talks, and my only motive is to, like, have this, like, how I am going to face it, like
Yeah.
how will I answer it, what are the questions that I am going to face, because the questions that anyone is going to ask me, they are going to help me reflect
Yeah,
on my journey
absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely. The same way when different people come on my channel, I have to go through their mindset and ask them that kind of question, and I'm questioning myself. Okay, this person thinks this way. Your introduction when I was reading it was so amazing. I made my questions out of that. So this is like getting into somebody's mind and knowing that person without even meeting. We haven't met before, so it's a fantastic. What you're saying is really amazing. Now my next question would be a very interesting one. Let's see how um, you would reflect upon, or you say that when you are now or you're in future, what is the mantra of building a good relationship? Coaching is
Hmm.
all about that, right? You build a relationship with yourself. But here I'm talking about external relationships, like your parents, with your peer, with your siblings, and with your girlfriends or boyfriends for that matter. So, whom or how do this building of relationship is so very important, and it is that which I find is needs a lot of support from coaches. Like relationship building is something which people are really not thinking more about. What do you say?
Yeah, I would start with that. Yeah, the relationship aspect is the most difficult to work on,
Yes,
improve. Like, you can earn a lot of money, you can achieve a lot of success in
absolutely.
external world, but it's very difficult when it comes to, like, having a better relationship with your
Mm,
parents, brother, or girlfriend, or any partner.
mm.
So here again, I think the thing is that all our relationships are a mirror or of our relationship with ourselves.
Mm.
So the better our relationship is with ourselves, the better, the higher self-esteem we have, the more self-love we have, and the less critical of we are of ourselves, the more we trust ourselves, the more self-belief we have. And if we have that level of high self-worth, high self-esteem, high self-love, it will automatically transmute into all other relationships.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it just because I've read in books or like that, but I'm saying it because how I have experienced it in my life. My every relationship has
Changed.
gotten so better just because I have worked on myself. And I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything to make that relationship better. It has just automatically happened. Because when you also focus on yourself, when you work on yourself, you also want to work on your relationships. And when you want to work on your relationships, you will reflect on how you're being to your mother, how you're being to your father, how you are being to your brother or your partner. And when you reflect on your being, you realize that mostly the intention in a relationship is same. People love you and you love them. But it's the behavior that causes the misunderstanding, the miscommunication.
Mm.
And because we are not trained, or our mind is not trained to be more vulnerable, to be more communicating in those relationships.
Mm,
Because somewhere we fear some form of judgment,
mm,
or however the dynamics of that relationship is.
mm.
But if you work on your own self-esteem, if you work on your own self-worth, it will transmute in every relationship. Not just in your relationship, it will also transmute in every person you will talk to. You will feel more connected with each person.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, from here, if I say that coach's job is to talk, right, to take out things from people. If I have to ask you this, that every person who has somebody, like they say, this is my best friend, my best buddy, my I share everything. Do you think it is possible that a person becomes completely vulnerable and shares every secret, every deep, dark part of their personality with somebody? Or there is something which is always submerged, it is always subsides in within us, which causes all the disease, all the illness, as you would have known, as you have just saying, you were going to suggest a book, I believe, which does reflect on the same thing. What is your take on this? Does people open up completely, or do they keep themselves within them, not like they'll be judged by what they want to share?
Okay, so I think there are 8 billion people now on this planet.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you say that, is there people that are able to share everything? I would say yes, there must be people who are at that level of, who are so comfortable with who they are,
Okay.
that they might be able to share everything, like literally everything.
Mm.
But I would say those people are must be very few in numbers, very very few. Most of the people are will not be able to share everything, and that's because we judge ourselves so much.
Mm.
Somewhere, like there are a lot of things that we do. Sometimes we do not have that level of awareness. Sometimes we do not have that guidance, and we a lot of it happens with, I would say, almost everyone, that we do a lot of stuff which we think is unforgivable.
Mm.
And
My next question will be, um, if you have to write a book on yourself, what would be the title of your book?
okay, so I already thought about writing a book, but hmm, I was thinking of writing a book. I have been running for 5 years, so I wanted to write a short book on running
Running. Okay. Okay.
and how it has actually transformed my life. Running has played a like very important part.
Okay. Please talk about this part. I did not know. What is your journey with fitness? It's all. I was going to ask you that everything which comes is about how your mind is trained. Running is a
Yeah,
training of your mind, right? The
yeah,
the
absolutely.
the discipline is something which what is your journey of running? How has this come into your life? Were you always into it, or you became a runner much later now?
Yeah, so running came into my life when as I told earlier, that when I was in the lowest point of my life. So I had no idea what to do actually. I was in such deep trouble. I was actually diagnosed with an incurable autoimmune disorder.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
the doctor said that this will not be cured, and I was experiencing like very intense chronic pain in my back.
Okay. Hmm.
And after like lot going to doctors and after doing a lot of things, I was came to a point where there was no answer to it, where I was just prescribed pills, and they said that you have to take these pills for the rest of your life. And I don't know, I didn't know where to begin with, but somewhere I was living in an hostel, and most of my friends had left, and I didn't know anything what to do, how to deal with this kind of pain. But somewhere there was this inside of me, somewhere there was this voice telling me that you gotta run, you have to run, you have to run. And it was not that it was telling me from that moment, it was coming from some time ago, but I had been ignoring it. Finally, I decided, because I had in the evening, I had a lot of free time. I
Hmm.
decided I'm going to start running. And I had been playing sports most of my life.
Hmm.
So I would say I was athletic
Hmm.
already.
Hmm.
And it came easy to me. Running came easy to me. And sooner, I realized that I made a goal that I am going to run 10 kilometers, and I started with running. And initially, like even in just 1 week, I just fell in love with it. I
Mm,
started enjoying it so much, and it became the most enjoyable part of my day.
mm,
Then like lot between like few things happened, and then I was not able to run for a while. Finally, one day after around 6 months, when I started running, I ran that distance of 10 kilometers.
mm,
And that was the point in my life where everything shifted, where the moment of my life changed.
mm.
Because that day I realized the power of setting and achieving your own goals, the
Goals.
goals that only you set out for yourself, goals which does not even make any sense. I felt so empowered that day that I could do this. I could run 10 kilometers. And even though I had no idea what to do with my condition, the pain that I was going through it, but it because it shifted the energy that I was in.
Mm.
And then it was sort of a miraculous journey that I was
Wow.
able to heal myself. But I would say that the running was the first thing that I started doing that helped me to cure that incurable disease and completely change everything about my life.
I would like to end today's talk with a favorite book of yours, which you wanted to share with all our viewers. You had named one, but I know you have another one which you think is very apt for today's talk of self-love. And would you like to share and talk about that?
Yeah. So this book is the most gifted book. I
Yes,
have given this to most number of people, and it's
me too.
the You
Yes,
Can Heal Your Life
yes.
by Lucy Hay. And this is the book where you will get a better understanding of why you should love yourself and how loving yourself can change your life and how you can actually love yourself.
I know.
So
Absolutely.
it's a very,
Yes.
very, very powerful book.
Very powerful book. I have read it too, and I think there can be nothing better than reading this book and make such simple lines, and it tells you why what happens, why do you have an ache in body, why you have pain in your tummy, why you have ulcers, why you have even cancer, why is it that all this disease which you have is all related to what you think about yourself.
Mm.
Wonderful.
Our like one thing I want to add,
Yes, yes.
our thoughts create our reality. And we don't know how profound it is that it affects every being of our the each thought that we are thinking is creating the feeling that we are in. And so the very basic thing how we can change our life is to change our thoughts. And the more we realize that whatever we are experiencing is only and only because of our thinking, not not our
Outside,
bodies,
external, yeah.
not our experiences, but it is only what we have been thinking about whatever is going outside.
Ashutosh, when you start speaking, I go into a spell and I listen to you, thinking how deep this person can talk. And I'm sure today's talk, when it's published, will be heard by so many people, and so many people will fall in love with your thought process, with which at such a young age, I'm again and again reiterating the fact that you are young and you have a long way to go in coaching journey, because you have such strong core, your value, your core, and your self beliefs is really amazing. Thank you for being with me today in this journey.